Alright folks, part 2 of replacing the 2013 JKU starter. It's got 130,000 miles on the Jeep, and it's a 3.6 liter automatic. Done a lot of different stuff to the Jeep, but at any rate, I'm a backyard mechanic and a horrible videographer, but I did have a little hard time with getting that off because there's no play in this cable. And what you got to actually do is get your screwdriver, position your starter back far enough, and get your screwdriver behind this, because I didn't see it until I got it off, but it actually has legs on each side, or little lips, and those clips keep it in place, which, you know, obviously is a good thing, but it's really hard if you don't know that's what you're fighting against. So I was fighting against this thing for quite a few minutes. Anyway, got it off. Did see it is definitely my starter, because that just flows freely in the starter, and it is supposed to come up and down, but there's supposed to be spring tension on it. I'll show you the reman here. See, it comes down, springs back down itself. So let me see if I can get this positioned and get this thing back up in there for you. Just kind of show you what we're doing here. I can't remember how I had that thing positioned so well before, but we'll be able to go here. Sorry again, I apologize. I am really not the video guy here, or a very good one anyway. So apologize to everybody who wants good video, but I'm just trying to show you that any jackleg can replace the starter in his Jeep. You didn't have to be a professional, and maybe through my experience somebody will save themselves a little money. I don't know. Alright, so two 15 millimeter bolts on the back, and a 13 millimeter holding the connector on the ground from the solenoid. Let's see if I can figure out how to get that thing back up in there. It's hard trying to do this with one hand and not mess the camera up. I apologize. Alright, but I should be able to get it up in there. Alright, get my bolts back in. Both bolts are the same length, so it wasn't anything you had to worry about keeping track of which one is which. Alright, see if I can get both these guys started. On a lot of Jeeps there is a plastic shroud. Most guys are probably going to remove that when they start modifying their Jeep. I've got a Fox JKS racing suspension and new axles. Well, not new axles, but a lot of work done to these axles. Front axle is not factory. I did change that out. And trussed and gusseted it. And then locked it and put 513 gears in it. So it's actually the Jeep's quite a beast now. Went to Uari a couple months ago, or a month ago, and never even, well, I did put it into 4-wheel drive, but did almost everything on the trails in 2-wheel drive. Sorry, I thought the video was showing what I was doing. Horrible videoer. I'm so sorry. I'll try to hold that right there and see if we can get something going. Putting in these 15 millimeters on the back side, you don't have much room. Drive shaft is, front drive shaft is kind of in the way there, but I'm actually going to put this back on while wonder what the best way to do that is. There's a lot of tension on that cable there, so I'm not sure of the best way somebody to do this. I'm going to use a screwdriver to kind of pry it, if I can do this with one hand and show you. Kind of pry it up there because there's so much tension on it, which I think is a really good thing for them to have that kind of tension on it, because simple fact is it's got to be able to take the abuse of going off-road and whatnot, but on the other hand, it's really difficult to get your hands up in there and get that pulled. Whoops. It's also very difficult to video, I apologize. Especially for a backyard videographer like me, but at any rate, I'm doing that for a reason, so you guys who aren't mechanics can see this. Okay, what I'm doing is, if I can get the camera to see it, I'm going to go in behind this so I can pull out. So hard. And I'm going to push it with my hand so it will go over. I'm basically manipulating it past. There we go. If you can see that, I'm manipulating it past its tension. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm trying to, though. This is literally a 5-minute job, folks. I'm taking hours at this because I'm so horrible at doing this kind of stuff. I really want a video so you can see it, but all you're gonna end up seeing is me break something. 6 minutes to get a connector on. That's so tight. I wonder if a real mechanic has a tool for that. Probably has the patience of a monk or something. I guess I shouldn't say that. I'm a pastor, but I don't have the patience for it. There we go. All right. Wow, that was not fun. 13 millimeter nut that holds that connector, that round strap on. And you connect your connector back on right there, and you can start your Jeep. So that's it, folks. 13 millimeter back here, connector, 2 15 millimeter bolts right there and there. And that's all she wrote, folks. New starter in a 2013 JK. Sorry it took me so long.